to Fearless Friday, your day to reclaim your weekend and your life. I'd like for you to think about one thing in your life that is the thorn in your side, the one thing that you feel is holding you back, okay? Whether it's finances, whether it's the economy, whether it's your weight, whether it's your mental state, whether it's your marriage, your lack of marriage, your relationship, your lack of relationship, your job, your lack of job. Think about the one thing that maybe you talk about or complain to others about. Oh, the economy, or oh, my weight, or oh, this, or oh, that. Now I'd like for you to think about what would happen in your life if that was a non-issue. So let's just say that your weight is a really big issue for right now. Now think about what your life would be like if your weight was not an issue. If you were at your perfect ideal weight where you feel healthy and strong, whatever that number is. Now think about, let's just say that one of your main complaints in life is your finances. Well, think about what your life would be like if all of a sudden you didn't have to worry about money. Think about the freedom that that would give you in your life. Now think about if the economy was just fabulous. How would your life be if the economy is something that you're constantly complaining about? This week's topic is personal responsibility and blame. Now, many times people tend to blame others for not taking personal responsibility for certain things in their life. And this is something that I'm kind of, if not really am, very a stickler for in my practice, is having my clients take personal responsibility for their action or non-action or lack of action, because non-action is still an action, okay? Now, if you have a weight issue, look at yourself and ask yourself, who's responsible for this weight issue? Is it the fast food restaurant? Is it your parents? Is it your cousin? Is it that person that assaulted you in college? No, it's your choice to eat extra food and not work out. If your issue is finances, who do you blame for this if you choose to blame someone? If you have credit card debt, if you have a mountain of other debt, who chose to swipe the card? Who chose to overextend your paycheck or overspend? You did. Do you blame the economy? Do you blame your spouse? Do you blame your siblings? Do you blame your parents? Once you get really clear on the source of that thorn in your side, the economy, the finances, the mental state of yourself, the relationships that you have and the quality of them, every single facet of your life that you choose to complain about, stop and really reflect and look at it and say, whose responsibility is this really? I know many people who, if you ask them about the economy, they'll say, oh, I hadn't noticed that the economy's not good because I've never been doing better, and it hasn't affected them. And the reason why it hasn't affected them is because they choose to focus on what they are in control of, which is their realm, their business, and their course of action that they take in their business, whether they work for someone else or whether they work for themselves. Many of you who have been following me know that recently, over the past 2 years, I've lost 20 pounds. I didn't blame anybody but myself for my weight gain. I discovered that I have a broken L4, and it had been there for a long time, but I didn't know about it, and when I found out about it, I was afraid to work out, and I turned to comfort eating because I felt betrayed by my body. When I realized, oh my gosh, I'm 20 pounds overweight, and I felt miserable, and I had no energy, I felt uncomfortable, I was just a hot mess, I realized the only person that can lose this weight is myself. And in order for me to lose that weight, I had to turn within and ask myself, why am I choosing to eat out of comfort? Why am I choosing to do this to my body? And one of the things that my doctor and my orthopedic guy told me, he's like, well, actually both of them say, keep your weight down and keep your core strong. And what did I do? I stopped working out and I started overeating. So I did the opposite of what they told me to do because I was scared. And when I realized that I felt powerless, I let myself go down that spiral of feeling powerless and disempowered. And then when I realized when I was at the bottom, when I had gained 20 pounds, and 20 pounds may not be a lot for some people, but for myself, who's always been slender, 20 pounds was a lot for me. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel healthy. And so I said, do I want to live this way for the rest of my life? No. Okay, how can I work with this? What can I do? What tools can I seek out and find to help me move forward? And so I found my fitness pal. I did that for 2 years, as well as reading several books and implementing a clean lifestyle, eating clean foods and splurging every once in a while on Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream because that's my little splurge food, but still, and then also working out again and choosing to take personal responsibility and feeling the discomfort but moving through it. You know, so if you have finances as your issue, well, look at your spending habits. Really get brutally honest with yourself. Print off all your bank statements. Highlight what you spend, categorize it, and say, what am I choosing to spend my money on? And is someone forcing me to overspend on Amazon or at the coffee shop or wherever? And really give yourself an honest look and ask yourself, why, what am I hoping to obtain from these purchases? From overeating, I was obtaining and feeling safety and security and groundedness because I felt scattered. I felt, scared because oh my gosh, I have a broken back. But what happens is when you shift and ask yourself, what am I gaining out of this food or the feeling that I'm feeling from overeating? For me, that was safety and security. And so I asked myself, okay, what's another way that I can feel safe and secure in my body? Well, feed it what it really wants to be fed, which is the really healthy stuff that tastes really great anyway, and to work out. And when I work out, I feel strong and I feel empowered. When I eat healthy, I feel good from the inside out, and I sleep better. I mean, everything just seems to work so much more efficiently. So, and with your finances too, ask yourself, what am I hoping to gain from this purchase? I have this video on my other channel called Color Therapy. I also have a class about color therapy on the Inner Circle. And that links shopping and retail therapy to the color of our corresponding chakra, and this is a whole class, and I will put the link to the class below and to the other video so that you can kind of see what I'm getting at. But look at the color of the things that you're purchasing and look at the corresponding chakra in your body and ask yourself, what part of my life feels like I need to fill that void? Whether it's the root chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra. Look at the different colors and see where it corresponds to your body, and then look at that issue. Okay, when we purchase something, each thing has its own vibrational energy to it, and when we purchase something, it's because it feels good and it makes us feel whole because there's something missing within. And that object is going to feel good for a while, and then all of a sudden you realize, well, this didn't make me feel good anymore, so let me go buy something else, let me go buy something else. And that's where people start to overspend and overspend and overspend, and it can become an addiction, just like overeating can, just like drinking can, just like drugs can, just like sex can. All these things tend to, and we pull them in to fill a void that's within us. That's not within us, and that's why it's a void. And so we really try to pull these things in. And then when our life doesn't turn out the way that we want it to, because we have all these extra things, and we start to blame other people. Well, I don't have any money in my bank account and it's because of the economy. Is it really? Look at your spending habits, which is no one else's responsibility but your own. If you feel like crap and you go to the doctor and they put you on medication, maybe because you have type 2 diabetes, because you've overeaten and you don't work out, and then you complain about it, okay? And you blame your parents because they fed you junk. Is it really their responsibility? No, it's your responsibility to get educated on the food that will make you feel healthy. It's your responsibility to educate yourself on how to control your finances and how to budget and manage your finances. If you want a healthy relationship, do you work at your relationship? Do you read books on how to have a fulfilling relationship? These are relationships of all kinds, with your kids, with your spouse, with your partner, with your parents, with your colleagues. There's thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions, of books about how to have healthy relationships in all these different facets. So if you are blaming someone else for your lack of action, I challenge you this week to really give yourself a really honest look and say, what am I choosing to avoid? Whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of just an old way of thinking, an old program that someone said, oh, well, it's the economy and so-and-so's in the White House, and so because of that, your paycheck is only gonna last for 2 weeks. Boom. And so you've agreed to that, and so that's what you manifest in your life. But in reality, you can change that way of thinking. But you have to be willing to get brutally honest with yourself and say, what am I choosing to blame others for? And also, am I taking on other people's shit? Because if someone blames you for something, so let's just say that you have a parent who is an alcoholic, and they come home and they're drunk off their butt, and they fall over and break a lamp, and then they go to bed. And so what you do is you clean up the lamp and you throw it away, or maybe you even glue it together and then stick it back up on the shelf. And then the next day they wake up and they say, who broke the lamp? Because they don't remember. And then you say, oh, I did, sorry, I was vacuuming and it broke and I'm sorry, Well, you just took the blame for someone else's action. And therefore, they were not able to take personal responsibility for their actions. And that can cause codependence. So really allow yourself to look at, what are you choosing to blame others for? Are you choosing to take the blame for someone else's stuff? And are you ready to live a fearlessly inspired life? Because in order to live a fearlessly inspired life, you have to take personal responsibility for each and every action or non-action in your life. And this is something that I've seen it time and time again. It changes people's lives, because when you choose to take personal responsibility for your happiness, for your finances, for your mental state, for your body, for your health, for your spirit, then and only then will you be able to move forward in life. Last week I spoke about questioning everything. This is part of that question. This is part of you being able to be really honest with yourself. What am I choosing to blame others for? What am I choosing to not take personal responsibility for? And am I willing to own up to it and say, okay, this is my stuff? And also, are you willing to say, this is not my stuff? And give those responsibilities that you've taken that are someone else's, and say, you know what, this is not my stuff here. This is your stuff. And be willing to stand in your truth and say, this is not my stuff. And many times when you do that, people get really pissed off because they're like, but you've always taken my stuff. Why can you not take it now? Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you? Well, you're so selfish because you aren't taking my stuff anymore. But be able to and be willing to articulate that, look, this is not my stuff. This is your responsibility. This is not my responsibility. But also be willing to be able to articulate what you are responsible for and what you're willing to say, you know what, I'm not blaming anybody else for this but my own actions or non-action. So this week I challenge you to really dig deep and get brutally honest with yourself about what are you choosing to blame others for? What are you choosing to take personal responsibility for? What are you choosing to claim as your own that is not your stuff? And start to and be willing to move forward and to take baby steps and say, okay, my finances are a mess. What can I do to take personal responsibility and fix it? If it's credit card debt, cut up the credit cards. If it's overspending for lattes, stop getting lattes. Seek out a financial advisor. Most financial advisors, if you're going to them and you say, I'm really in debt, I need some direction, they'll be able to cut you a deal so that they can steer you clear it. Okay, well, let's get you some tools so that you can move forward. Okay? And all these different facets, same with weight management and living a healthy lifestyle and having a fabulous relationship with yourself and with others that really affect everything else in your life. But first and foremost, your relationship with yourself has to be honest. And this is how we get honest with ourselves, is what am I blaming others for? And what am I choosing to take blame for? And what am I choosing to take personal responsibility for? And what responsibilities am I choosing to take on as my own that are really not my stuff? If you've liked this video, you can listen to the entire hour, it's actually I think 70 minutes, on the Inner Circle. We actually did a What's Up Wednesday call this past Wednesday that dealt with this. And so if you would like to listen to the full 70-minute call, go ahead and log on to the Inner Circle. The link is below and you will find it in the call archives. If you've really enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss a single episode of Fearless Friday. Please give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends on Facebook and Twitter. Then head on over to my website, florapeterson.com, and join in on the discussion below the video. And also, while you're there, please get signed up for my fabulous free gifts and tools to help you live a fearlessly inspired life that will be in your inbox every week. Until next week, bye-bye.